Cowboys take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are currently sitting first in the AFC South this Sunday night at AT&T Stadium. Sunday night football. One thing I dread. I've always hated Sunday night games. I've hated Monday night games. Any game that I got to wait all day long for, I'm out. I'm old. I got to cover the game. Game don't start 7:30. 3-hour game don't end at 10-something. Then I got to do the post-game show. Then I got to drive home. I'm starting to complain it right now. I'm so thankful I get to cover this. But I hate night games. I've always hated them as a player. I hate them as a media member now. But the Cowboys taking on a hot Bucs team. They just rolled the Los Angeles Chargers last week, 40-17. When you look at this Bucs team, it's a team that has been going ebb and flow. They came out the gates hot, and then they lost their top two wide receivers, Godwin and then Mike Evans, and then Godwin. They both lost them back to back. And this offense took a major hit, and they lost 4 games in a row. And then they figured this thing out. And listen to this name that I'm about to say, because it is a name that may not come up heavily in this head coaching cycle. But I want to say in the future head coaching cycle, maybe the season after season 2020, into 2025, 2026, that head coaching cycle, you're going to hear the name Liam Cohen. Liam Cohen. He's the offensive coordinator of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he's going to be one of these new guys that's coming into the mix. But once those two receivers went down, they were trying to figure out what we're going to do offensively with Baker Mayfield, and things didn't look good, and they lost some games, but they won some tough games. When they had their full complement of guys, they beat Philadelphia. They beat America's team, the Detroit Lions. They lost twice to Atlanta, but Atlanta was rolling early on. There's not many teams in the league that say that I can say that they beat both Philadelphia and Detroit. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have done just that. But while they lost their two wide receivers, they found a running game. And Rashad White, and Bucky Irvin. Boy, Bucky Irvin, the guy they found in the 4th round. What we could have done with the 4th round pick. We had a 4th round pick. The Cowboys had a 4th round pick. Oh, no, don't worry about it. We give our 4th pick to the San Francisco 49ers for what's the guy's name? Does he play football for us? Oh, yeah, Trey Lance. So, yeah, we didn't have a chance to get an actual good running back in the draft. But anyway, Bucky Irvin and Rashad White, they've gotten this thing up and going. This is, if you say, if Sonic and Knuckles, and that's Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, who's out right now, if you say that those two guys are the best duo, the best tandem running back in the league, this is number 2. And now that Montgomery is hurt and he'll miss the rest of this season, maybe even some playoffs, this is the number 1 running back duo. Because we're not counting. No, he's a quarterback. We're not counting Lamar and Henry. No. This is the number 1 duo. This running back duo is the best running back duo in the league. Right now, they're second in the NFL and in yards after contact. This duo, second in the NFL at the yards after contact. You know who first is. I just told you who first was. Right now, 1,013 yards after contact. They run physical. They run aggressive. They run hard. They are 16th in the league in broken tackles. Well, they have 23 of them. This duo averages 5.2 yards a carry. Right now, Bucky Irvin is ranked the 4th running back. This is via PFF. And White is 16th. When I tell you the Cowboys are looking at something that could be a handful. And I think this is the first game that you go back to for the Cowboys defensively, and you're seeing a matchup where the Achilles heel for the Cowboys defensively has been teams that run a lot of motion, pre-snap motion. Teams that move a lot pre-snap, that do exit motion. That means when they have a tight end or a running back or receiver, at the snap of the ball, they're exiting towards the sideline, not coming into the formation, but out of the formation. They do it from the backfield. They do it from up near the line of scrimmage. There's always somebody in motion. They do half motion where someone's coming from the outside, coming into the formation. They do across the formation motion. That means from one side to the other, changing the strength for the defense, changing the look for the defense. The Cowboys, yes, they're dealing with a lot of injuries. So what's going to be vital is the communication. When they get the motion in and moving around and shifting and all that kind of stuff, who's going to be the guy that communicates this to everyone else on the defensive side of the football? I know that Eric Kendrick is the green dot. He's been missing a couple of days of practice this week, so hopefully he's good to go Sunday night. But no Trayvon Diggs, no DeMarvion Overshown. Mozzie Smith has been on the injury report. The Cowboys just signed a guy who they drafted and let go early in the year, was on the Bengals practice squad, in Justin Rogers. Is that a telltale sign? Because Mozzie's been out of practice a couple of days. Will he miss this game? Now talking about the communication. Are we passing things off where they're supposed to be passed off to? You saw the touchdown that the Cowboys gave up last week, right before the half, an 80-yard touchdown to the Carolina Panthers. It was not to pick on Oruwariye, but he just got inserted into the lineup. A communication factor. He and the other DB, Jordan Lewis, on that side the call did not get out to that side. Blown coverage, 80-yard touchdown right before the half. Could have been catastrophic. It wasn't. Carolina's not that good of a team. You blow assignments on this team, it will be catastrophic. And they are a lot better. Talk about, where the game is won and lost. In the trenches, Tampa Bay, their offensive line, third, according to PFF, third offensive line. They have a good offensive line. They have a difference maker at left tackle, Tristan Wirth. It's going to be a matchup. Micah, you're not going up against a Rudy Poo Candy. You know what The Rock said this week. And I love when there's good on good. I love when there is a competition that has to be had between the two. That's going to be a great matchup for the Cowboys defensively, to watch Micah go up against Tristan Wirth on the offensive line. But this Bucs team riding a 4-game winning streak. They're fighting to keep first place in the NFC South. Right now, Atlanta was the other team trying to make positions to push them to get that number one spot. Atlanta just made the change at quarterback as well. But this Bucs team is a hot team. And their quarterback, Baker Mayfield, while I may not always personally like Baker Mayfield is one of these quarterbacks where he's a gamer. He's a gamer. I don't know what other word to describe him, right? He's a gamer. He's not bad. He's not in the elite conversation, but he's definitely not in the, you don't put him in the conversation with some other cats that, I think Baker is sitting in between that above average, beneath that elite conversation. He's a good quarterback. He can be streaky. He got a little Jameis in him now. Where Baker can throw a 5-touchdown game, 350 yards. Baker could throw 3 interceptions as well. Right? And that's what I mean by he's a gamer. Like I said, depending on what Baker comes to town, you might get when Baker's on, he's on. But when he ain't, he ain't. And in this 4-game winning streak, they're cooking. He has 1,112 yards and 8 touchdowns. But he has 5 interceptions in this 4-game winning streak. That's what I'm saying. Baker is one of those guys where he going to give you one. He going to give you a chance because in his mind, a play is never dead. And that's a gift and a curse for a quarterback to have. While, a guy like Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers and Josh Allen and the guys, the big arm guys, the Patrick Mahomes of the world, the Burrows, the Herberts, the big arm, confident guys, arrogant throwing guys. Jameis Winston has a big arm. Sometimes you get a little bit arrogant with your arm. And Baker, I feel Baker doesn't fall in the category of big arm talent like those guys. He has a mindset, though. Baker thinks he can roll right, throw back left like Patrick Mahomes does. Doesn't have that arm. Doesn't have the Josh Allen arm. And so that's what gets him in trouble sometimes. And so if the Cowboys are going to have a chance to win this game from a defensive perspective, because I think the offense is going to be pretty mundane, you're going to have to pressure Baker Mayfield. You're going to have to make Baker Mayfield really feel the pressure of because when you get him pressure in the pocket, he gets scrambly. He gets a little bit weirded out, and he can make bad decisions. He can run his way into a sack. He gets in that pocket back there and he starts dancing around. He's a mobile dude. He gets to dancing around and balls hanging out one hand and he's trying to shrug guys off. He's, again, mobile, athletic, strong, tough to bring down. But it's hard for those guys up front sometimes to keep track of where he is back there, and he runs himself into a sack. So the Cowboys defensively are going to have to come with it. The injury report came out. Like I said, Eric Kendricks dealing with something. Mozzie Smith dealing with something. You know that you don't have Trayvon Diggs, and they just signed Justin Rogers. So defensively, they're going to have to put this thing together. And I think the most important thing that I want to talk about when it comes to this defense is who is the real you? Like, I know what Micah is. Micah is going to be Micah no matter what. No matter what. Right? And so Micah can win one-on-one battles against greater competition. But who are you? Like, who are you as a defense? Because to me, you whooping up on the Giants and you whooping up on the Panthers and you looking up on a really bad offensive line and defensive line of the Bengals and they still beat you. Who are you? That's the part that we want to see. Mozzie, who are you? Luafau, who are you? Deron Bland, are you back? Like, that's who I want to see. Golston, Osa, Carl Lawson. Yo guys are playing some damn good football against teams that weren't really good. And I hate to sound like I'm knocking you because you guys, you can only play the people that are in front of you. But these next 3 games, starting with Tampa Bay, that's going to show a lot of people who you are. That's going to show a lot of people were you just lip service or were you really walking that walk. With this running game and at least Mike Evans, his eye is on 11 1,000-yard seasons. Mike Evans, Texas guy. Baker Mayfield, Texas guy. These guys want to go out there and show and prove in their home state and stomp on the Cowboys while they're down. The defense is going to have to be, if the Cowboys are going to win a game like this, they're going to have to rely heavily on the defense. And this is going to be one of those personal games where the defense has to step up. Micah was tweeting this week about some stats that came out and how the Cowboys differential, point differential, yard differential, all of that has risen from the first couple weeks of the season to now. Kudos. And Micah said, hey, we are a darn good team. Kudos. Prove it. It's prove it time. You don't prove it by beating Carolina. You don't prove it by beating the New York Giants, who are actively tanking. You prove it by beating a team that is equal to or greater than a playoff team. Here's how you prove your worth. And it's going to be interesting to see how these guys take on this Tampa Bay offense. Now, flip over to the other side of the ball. Cowboys offensively, I'm going to ask the same question. Because we've had great praise about what this offensive line and this running game has been doing. Rico Dowdle, the last couple of games, people put up the stats. The last 4 weeks of the season, no back. Only Saquon Barkley has been the better back than Rico Dowdle. Rico Dowdle has rushed for over 100 yards in 3 straight games. That hasn't happened since 2014 as an undrafted running back. Rush for 300 yards since Arian Foster did it in Houston back in 2014. And all these things are happening. And we're giving Brock Hoffman his praise, and we're saying they're playing offensive line musical chairs, and it doesn't matter who they're putting in there. They're still able to rattle off 100-yard games. And Rico Dowdle each and every week has beat his career high from the last week. So, will the real Cowboy offensive line please stand up? Because you got to deal with some dudes now. Cooper Beebe's coming back from the concussion after missing 2 games, which means they'll probably slide Brock Hoffman back over to guard. He was playing center. Y'all got to deal with Vita Vea. I don't know who's going to be playing left tackle. I don't know if it's going to be Chuma. He was on the injury report. I don't know if it's going to be Guyton. I don't know who it's going to be. I don't know who it's going to be. I don't know if Guyton is benched or he's too hurt to play, but he ain't hurt enough to go in with the backup situation. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this kid. It probably ain't good for his head. I don't know if he hurt. I don't know if he really hurt or his vajayjay hurt. I don't know. I do not know who's playing left tackle this week. I'm going to find out when you find out. Because that's how it's been going the last couple of weeks. But the real offensive linemen, stand up. Stand up. Todd Bowles is going to run games. He's going to bring a blitz every now and again. The Levante Davis is still a good football player. You're going to have to deal with some guys up front this week. You want to prove to the world, Brock Hoffman, yeah, it's cool. Talk your trash. Talk your mess. Do it to teams that actually are equal to or better than you. Y'all got to be able to go out there and really compete against a team that is looking at a playoff picture, who want to make sure that you don't get in their way of holding on to this number 1 seed, getting into the playoffs. It's going to be big because I don't believe with this defense and this secondary and this defensive coordinator that Cooper Rush will be able to get away with the 2 lollipop throws that he scored for touchdowns last week. 3 touchdowns for sure. The one to CeeDee Lamb, I'll give him that. CeeDee Lamb is making him quarterback proof, though. Anywhere near 88, he's going to come down with it. But the one to Tolbert and the one to Brooks in the back of the end zones, against any other good, I don't know what Xavier Woods was looking at. Those throw, my boy Will sent me something this week, and he said the one throw to Jalen Brooks had an 11% chance of being successful. 11. That play is intercepted 9 times out of 10. If he just turns around, he's running to the defender, to the offensive player. Ball whizzed right by his head for a touchdown. We've seen on display with Cooper Rush is, no disrespect, my boy, but the noodle arm. You got no punch behind that arm. There's no zip. Everything is fluttering. I mean, you throw with your whole body. CeeDee Lamb has had to catch a ball high, low, behind, in between, one hand, 2 hands, with his feet, with his ear. The ball has been all over the place. And you've been lucky. You've been very fortunate that those haven't resulted into major turnovers. But as you play stiffer competition this week, next week versus Philadelphia, you're going to have to be on point. But I think Michael from Pittsburgh, if there's any bag that you need to be in, got to run that football. You have to run that football. You got to eat up some of that clock. You got to wear that defense down. You have to take the ball out of Cooper Rush's hands, and you have to stay ahead of the sticks. Can't find yourself. You can't allow this offense to be on 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, and 3rd and 9. You can't. And you've shown the last couple of weeks that you can handle the amount of carries that you've been given in a game. You can handle 20-plus carries in a game. We're going to need another performance out of you like that. Being able to go out there and handle the front, be able to – and the thing that Rico has done really well is set up blocks. See, I think early in the year he was just so focused on – trying to hit the home run every single play that you were running into the back of guys, missing the hole, and now you had a run last week where you were running off to the right, Rico, and you could have just kept going, but that linebacker was flowing over, but you kind of suddenly went up like into the hole. He stopped for a second, paused a little bit, and then you bounced it outside, and when he went to go flow over the top to make that tackle, he ran into his own defensive player because the offensive line got a chance to get that block up, that reach block, and it got to him. You got to be that type of runner. You got to be a one cut and downhill, a jump cut, being able to see those holes develop, be slow to, fast through. That was where you have to live. And the Cowboys have to lean on that game because you got CeeDee Lamb and a bunch of others. I'm good on Mingo. I'm Jalen Tolbert. I've tried to push the agenda for you, but you don't push the agenda for yourself. Who knows if Jalen Brooks will play, or it will be Ryan Flournoy. Mingo, I'm out. Brandon Cooks, show me something. But I know if you throw those lollipops against Winfield Senior, it's going to be trouble. And I know I haven't picked the Cowboys to win a game in a long time. They're 4.5-point underdogs, I believe, at home. I don't know. There's been a game in a while that the Cowboys hasn't been underdogs in. I think 4.5 points. Tay? 4? Okay, 4-point underdogs at home. Usually they give a decent team 3 at home. So that's a little bit of swing for the Cowboys. What's the over-under? They got an over-under? 48.5 over-under. Sounds about right. Tampa Bay's averaging 27 points a game, I believe. 26, 27 points a game at home. So the Cowboys, if they can put up 20 there, 48 there. Yeah. But I just, if the Cowboys really want to sell me, really want to convince me that they are, as Michael would say, a damn good team, got to beat damn good teams. If you ain't beating damn good teams, don't hold that makes you a damn good team. In the words of the great Ric Flair, in order to beat a man, you got to beat the man. In order to be a real good team, got to beat real good teams. And so the Cowboys have a chance to do so, but I don't believe that they will so. So give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 24-17. 24-17. Tampa Bay takes out the Cowboys at home at AT&T for Sunday night football.